The boxing world is buzzing with anticipation as Errol, Spence Jr. and Terence "Bud" Crawford reignite their rivalry, setting the stage for a highly anticipated rematch. Their first encounter in July 2023 was a defining moment in the sport, with Crawford delivering a masterclass performance that left Spence searching for answers. Now, nearly 2 years later, the two welterweight titans are once again trading barbs, this time through a heated Instagram live session that has fans and analysts dissecting every word. The exchange was raw, unfiltered, and dripping with the kind of intensity that promises another explosive showdown. Spence, who has been sidelined since that fateful night in 2023, made it clear he's hungry for redemption. The former unified welterweight champion, known for his relentless pressure and slick southpaw style, joined the live session first, throwing down the gauntlet. He challenged Crawford's legacy, questioning whether the Omaha native truly wants to test himself against the best. Spence's words carried the weight of a man who's tasted defeat and is determined to rewrite his story. "If Crawford wants to challenge himself to be great, let him try to be great," Spence said, his tone a mix of defiance and confidence. "I'm with it. I'll be going for Bud." Crawford, never one to back down, soon joined the call, and the conversation quickly escalated. The only man to knock Spence down, knock him out, and hand him his first professional loss in 29 fights, Crawford didn't mince words. He reminded Spence of the punishment he endured in their first fight, warning him to be ready for the rematch. "I'm ready to do just what I did to you last time," Crawford said, his voice calm but laced with menace. The exchange took a personal turn when Spence fired back, claiming he'd break Crawford's neck outside the ring. Crawford, unfazed, dismissed the threat and accused Spence of making excuses to avoid another beating. The roots of this rematch trace back to their first fight, a clash billed as a battle for pound-for-pound supremacy. On that summer night in Las Vegas, Crawford dismantled Spence with surgical precision, flooring him in the second round and twice in the seventh before referee Harvey Dock stopped the fight in the ninth. Crawford's performance was a tour de force, blending speed, power, and ring IQ to claim the undisputed welterweight championship. He walked away with Spence's IBF, WBA, and WBC titles, adding them to his own WBO belt and cementing his place atop the boxing world. Spence, bloodied and swollen, protested the stoppage but later admitted Crawford was the better man that night. "My timing was a little off," he said post-fight, refusing to make excuses. "He was catching me in between shots." For Crawford, the victory was vindication after years of being overlooked. "Nobody believed in me when I was coming up," he told ESPN's Stephen A. Smith. "I made everybody a believer." The win marked Crawford as the first male boxer to become undisputed champion in 2 weight classes, having previously unified all 4 belts at 140 pounds. Since that night, Spence has been on a journey of recovery and reinvention. A serious car accident in 2019 and retina surgery in 2021 had already tested his resilience, but the loss to Crawford was a different kind of setback. It was the first time he'd been outclassed, and it left him sidelined for nearly 2 years. Rumors of his retirement swirled, amplified by a parody X account claiming he'd hung up his gloves due to another eye injury. Spence quickly shut down the speculation, writing on Instagram, "It's not from me," alongside a trash bin emoji. He reiterated his intent to return, telling fans, "You can kill the retirement talk." The Instagram live session was a turning point, reigniting interest in a rematch that had been simmering since the original fight's bidirectional rematch clause. Spence has been vocal about wanting another shot, even as Crawford's focus has shifted toward a potential megafight with Canelo Alvarez. During the call, Spence questioned Crawford's Hall of Fame credentials, arguing that his own resume, unifying belts at 147 pounds and facing top-tier opponents like Kell Brook and Sean Porter, stacks up favorably. Crawford countered by pointing out that Spence has fought in only one division and never achieved undisputed status, a jab that cut deep. Boxing fans are divided on what a rematch would bring. Some believe Crawford, now 40-0 with 31 knockouts, has already seen the best of Spence and would dominate again. They point to the one-sided nature of their first fight, where Crawford outlanded Spence 185-96 in total punches, including an 87-33 edge in jabs. Others argue that Spence's time away from the ring, coupled with his split from trainer Derek James, could lead to a reinvented fighter. At 34, Spence insists he's not chasing a long career, hinting at 1 or 2 more fights before walking away. "I'm not one of those guys fighting till I'm 45, he said recently. Crawford, meanwhile, is juggling multiple ambitions. The rematch with Spence is a lucrative opportunity, but his sights are set on Canelo Alvarez, the face of boxing at 168 pounds. Crawford told The Ring he believes his speed, reach, and skills give him an edge over the Mexican superstar, despite the size disadvantage. "I've been fighting people bigger than me my whole life," he said. "I always come out on top." A victory over Spence could serve as a tune-up, boosting his momentum heading into what would be the biggest fight of his career. Yet Crawford expressed concern for Spence's health during the live session, advising him against a rematch if he's not fully prepared. Spence brushed it off, calling Crawford a coward for hesitating. The boxing landscape has shifted since their first fight. Crawford, now a champion at 154 pounds after edging out Israel Madrimov, is confident he can climb another weight class to challenge Canelo. Spence, on the other hand, faces other options, including a potential clash with rising star Virgil Ortiz Jr., a fight Golden Boy promoter Oscar De La Hoya is eager to make. De La Hoya envisions Spence versus Ortiz in Dallas, a Texas showdown that could fill stadiums. Ortiz, undefeated with 23 knockouts in 23 fights, has proven his mettle against tough opponents like Sergey Bohachuk and is itching for a shot at a world title. "Virgil's ready for the biggest names," De La Hoya told FightHype.com. "A fight with Spence would be massive." Spence's time away hasn't dulled his competitive fire, but questions linger about his ring rust. His last memory in the ring, a ninth-round TKO loss to Crawford, was far from his finest hour. Before that, he'd been a force, unifying titles with wins over Brook, Porter, and Yadenis Yugas. His comeback from a near-fatal car crash and eye surgery showcased his grit, but the Crawford defeat exposed vulnerabilities. Some wonder if the 2-year layoff has allowed him to heal and evolve, or if it's a sign of decline at 34. Spence remains defiant, insisting he's not scared of defeat. "You can only be scared of what you haven't experienced," he said. Crawford's trajectory, by contrast, has been one of relentless ascent. From winning his first world title at 135 pounds against Ricky Burns in 2014 to unifying 140 and 147 pounds, he's built a resume that's hard to dispute. His knockout ratio at welterweight, 100% in 7 fights before Spence, speaks to his finishing instincts. Against Spence, he showed he could dominate without relying solely on power, using timing and counterpunching to pick apart a world-class opponent. "I don't go in there looking for the knockout," Crawford said post-fight. "But if he gets out of line, he's going down." The Instagram live session laid bare the personal stakes. Spence feels Crawford disrespected him by questioning his Hall of Fame status, while Crawford believes Spence is chasing a fight he can't win. Their exchange wasn't just about boxing, it was about pride, legacy, and unfinished business. Fans who watched the call saw two warriors unafraid to bare their souls, even if it meant crossing lines. "I ain't one of your kids," Crawford told Spence at one point, a reminder that this isn't just a professional rivalry but a deeply personal one. As the rematch looms, the boxing world is left to ponder what's next. Can Spence rediscover the form that made him a unified champion? Will Crawford's pursuit of Canelo overshadow his focus on Spence? The first fight was a coronation for Crawford, but Spence's resilience can't be underestimated. He's come back from worse than a loss, a car flipping 6 times, a detached retina, and still found a way to win. Crawford, though, is a different beast, a generational talent who seems to have an answer for everything. For now, Spence has put other fights on hold, determined to settle the score with Crawford. Crawford, ever the strategist, sees the rematch as a stepping stone to greater things. The boxing community waits with bated breath, knowing that when these two step into the ring again, it won't just be a fight, it'll be a war. Whether it's Spence reclaiming his throne or Crawford solidifying his legend, one thing is certain: the world will be watching.